Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. We are in the middle, I suppose you could say middle, it's been over 12 hours now, of the Economic Freedom Fighters' national shutdown of South Africa. Their effort to draw attention to what they claim is the need for President Ramaphosa to resign. I could have given you that need in February of 2018, but hey, that's just me. The need for him to resign and their anger over the state-controlled, state-run ANC, overwhelming majority black-run company and political party in government, for them to be exposed for their failure to provide electricity in South Africa. So how's it gone for the EFF, for South African authorities, and for South Africans? Well, EFF leader Julius Malema arrived at Church Square in Pretoria recently, in the last couple hours, and he addressed an estimated crowd of about 1,500 protesters. Now, his peaceful protest action has been about what I expected and predicted. There's been some violence, a few decent turnouts, some property damage, and a few stupid sheep who sacrifice themselves for rest to make a fruitless point. And most of South Africa has been largely unaffected or often barely even aware of this event. But of course, the ANC are claiming victory for a rare show of force to deter violence on the part of the EFF. And the EFF have, on their part, as was going to always be the case regardless of what happened today, declared victory. Malema is even taking credit for Eskom lowering load shedding. The cheek of Julius Malema. It's too entertaining. He said when he spoke in Church Square, Ramaphosa says business must open. Malema says businesses must close. And look who businesses are listening to. Yeah, the people who threaten to burn and loot their businesses. That's who they're listening to. He also said that the biggest economy in Africa is closed, and Sandton is closed because of the mighty EFF. Well, factually, that's a lie. It's incorrect. Number one, South Africa is not the largest economy in Africa. That's Nigeria, nearly twice as large as South Africa, Julius. You need to keep up with current events. After they rebased their economy a few years ago, their economy is more than twice the size of South Africa's and growing much more rapidly. That's the first thing. Second thing is Sandton was not closed. The mighty EFF. Look, take credit for where you produced a decent-sized crowd, but don't make fairy tale lies. Now, Malema claims that no country gives the EFF money and no businessmen give them money. But that's utter nonsense. Now, he also said, we paid for buses, 196 buses, to come and fetch you. And what are those buses? A bus was hijacked, other buses were stoned, and passengers fled for their lives. So the transport company, Putco, temporarily suspended services because of the EFF activity today. In Soweto, a bus was stoned and damaged in Bramfisher. Passengers fled and the bus was abandoned. In Shwane and Mpumalanga, the routes were unsafe. And as I mentioned, one was hijacked, a bus, and actually used to create a barrier, but the police got the bus back. A female bus driver was removed, thrown out of the bus by these violent demonstrators. Now, perhaps the most entertaining part of the day for me thus far has been watching Julius Malema walking arm in arm with yet another reject from the ANC, Karl Niehaus, or as we prefer to call him, Karl Nyhorst. The sight of Karl Niehaus and Julius Malema, two bum-hurt ANC rejects marching arm in arm through the streets of Pretoria, is loaded with so much irony that it is entertaining to say the least. So what do we make of today's events, folks? What do we make? Well, the EFF is going to claim victory. For once, the media appears not to be pimping the EFF. Both the Independent Line and News 24 are actually accurately reporting the events, it appears, instead of pimping Malema and propping him up as he's some sort of important person rather than the fool that he is. They're actually reporting the news. It's a nice change of events. Perhaps even the news media in South Africa have grown tired of the destruction, the wanton lawlessness that takes place in South Africa. Whatever the case, the EFF have claimed victory, the ANC have claimed victory, but as I predicted before these events occurred, South Africans can claim victory. The problem here is that the EFF did not do enough to tarnish themselves enough in the eyes of those who support them. And they didn't do enough to lead to an arrest of Julius Malema, which should have been done after Clicks, should have been done after Brockenfell, should have been done after Senekal. And frankly, changing the receiver in the weapon, the hate speech, inciting violence, the man gets away with everything. And he'll get away with this as well. So nothing will come of this, folks. That's the bottom line here. And there you have it. That's an update on events in South Africa on the 20th of March, 2023. It's not a nothing burger, but it's also not a significant event, to say the least. The EFF has proven that it can muster numbers of people in specific locations, but much of the country went about their business with virtually nothing happening. In Kailicha, in the Cape Flats, no one noticed. In Cape Town, barely a ripple. EFF is not the mighty party of the little man that they claim to be. They are just hustlers that are looking for the grift. Thanks a lot, folks.